Hello everyone, and welcome to my CBS Bold and Beautiful Today channel. I hope everyone is having a wonderful day. Before we begin, please hit the subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up. When Sheila learns of Steffy's infidelity, does she destroy her before Finn finds out? According to spoilers on The Bold and the Beautiful, John Finnegan is running back to Steffy Forrester. However, he is unaware of her and Carter Walton. Even worse, we are all aware of Sheila Carter's ability to solve problems before anybody else wants her to. This would be an absolute nightmare. What would happen if Sheila found out about Steffy and Carter first and had to make a decision regarding the major secret? Remembering how we got here is important. The initial explosion of Finn and Steffy's reunion was caused by Sheila. She started the whole process by following them into Monaco on the plane. Steffy was sad and inebriated when she flew home as a result. Sheila's whole strategy was to ensure that everything happened as planned and that her son and Steffy would lead happy lives. Naturally, the butterfly can now be tracked all the way back to her. Would she make things worse or tidy up her mess? Sheila would love nothing more than evidence that Steffy isn't the ideal wife that everyone believes she is. Sheila's entire existence has been based on using that proof to ultimately tilt the scales with Finn. However, there is another aspect of Sheila that may entirely obscure this information, the part that sincerely wants her kid to be happy. Sheila is capable of true love. Simply put, she's never been very good at communicating it without hurting someone in the process. There is no scenario in which Sheila does not save the information for later, even if she decides to keep quiet and defend Finn. She is just that. Such a secret turns into leverage. Sheila was treated like a threat by Steffy for years. Steffy might not even be aware of it until it's too late to take action if Sheila decides to keep this card in her sleeve. What are your thoughts? Would Sheila use it to demonstrate to everyone how awful Steffy is, or would she shield Finn by remaining silent? Tell us what you think, and don't forget to stay tuned to see what happens next. B&B spoilers, Steffy and Carter's shocking hookup wins fans over. Could they really last? According to spoilers for The Bold and the Beautiful, there's a strong chance that this will work out in the end. Naturally, we are discussing the prospect of Steffy Forrester and Carter Walton being a committed couple. The problem is that Steffy recently cheated on Finn by having an affair with Carter. Yes, this is the same person who berates others for their choices, but she recently had an affair with the husband of her best friend Daphne. To put it plainly, Steffy won't accept accountability for her recent actions and will probably find a way to place the blame elsewhere. However, it appears that many fans find chemistry in this pairing. It's obvious that a lot of B&B fans had a lot to say about the direction this plot is taking on social media. "I'm sure this will be unpopular, but I'm liking this Steffy Carter storyline," said one commenter. "On real life, cheating on your spouse is terrible, but on soap operas, it's almost commonplace. Furthermore, this is far more fascinating than anything involving RJ/Electra. I feel it's not an unpopular opinion. From what I read on other forums, a lot of people love it because it's fresh and different from the ever-circular storylines they keep telling," commented another critic. Additionally, there was a comment that said, "I actually think the writers have been on a roll since this spring. It has been soapy delight to watch Logan vs. Forrester transfer to the repercussions in Monaco with Steffy doing something obviously wrong. It's unclear at this point if Steffy and Carter will truly endure as a pair. On the other hand, viewers will undoubtedly need to watch every single day to figure out what comes next. In the interim, please share your opinions with us in the space provided for comments below." Daphne begins to wonder what Carter is concealing. When Daphne Rose changed her mind and decided not to travel to Paris, she believed her husband would be overjoyed on The Bold and the Beautiful. However, going future, Carter Walton will exhibit somewhat off behavior. Daphne can tell her husband is concealing something, therefore it won't be long before she begins questioning him. In order to save their marriages, Carter Walton persuaded Steffy Forrester that they should conceal their inebriated hookup. However, their covert meetings and talking at Forrester Creations will begin to arouse suspicions. Steffy's secrets and Carter's strange conduct will begin to add up. To find out what her husband and closest friend have been up to, Daphne Rose may even begin spying on them. Spoilers for Bold and Beautiful indicate that Steffy Forrester's affair will soon come to light. Daphne Rose, her best friend, may possibly discover that they had an affair. Steffy slept with the husband of her best friend in addition to cheating on her husband, Dr. Finn. Steffy will have a lot of explaining to do once the truth is revealed. There are rumors that B&B is developing a pregnancy plot involving Steffy and Carter. To find out if Carter or her husband is the father, she will undoubtedly need to take a DNA test. Daphne Rose recently learned that she is unable to conceive, despite her intense desire for a child. Is it possible that Steffy will simply act as a surrogate and give Carter and Daphne the child? Is there hope for Elektra's future with RJ's plan? According to previews for The Bold and the Beautiful, RJ Forrester fell in love with Elektra Forrester as soon as he saw her at their family's business. Given that he told Eric Forrester about her brilliance, talent, and stunning beauty, almost every male couldn't hold it against him. Naturally, the only person on the earth who harbors resentment for RJ is Will Spencer. At last, Morrow's persona acknowledges that during their intermittent relationship, he frequently caused issues for Elektra. However, he also believes that RJ is an opportunist and shouldn't be with his ex-girlfriend. RJ deserves praise for coming up with a concept that has commercial potential and strengthens his bond with the woman he has fallen in love with. Although Elektra doesn't yet feel the same way about him, she likes RJ, is aware of his admiration for her skills, and views him as a potential replacement for Will. It is true that Will and Elektra were in their first committed relationships, which was a major contributing element to instability and the final breakup. However, they both understand that love wasn't the problem. Melissa Dillon was informed by Elektra that she would always adore Will. Current developments are untenable because of this and the fact that Dillon, a still unusual usage of a character's surname name as a first name, was purportedly Elektra's best buddy. Will ought never to have given in to his attraction to Dillon. However, Elektra's frequent separation from him upset him emotionally. However, it would be exaggerated to claim that he ruined their relationship given that he was a young man who had two attractive ladies who publicly desired to be with him. His relationship with Elektra was difficult because he was a Forrester. Although they belonged to the same family, Elektra is not a blood relative due to his father's adoption. Viewers heard the explanation several times, which helped new viewers understand it and refreshed the recollections of seasoned viewers. RJ's casting earlier this year set the setting for the soap opera. Joshua Hoffman, who was a cast member, was replaced by Nicoletti. As the audience witnessed the setup, the disparity between Will and RJ became more pronounced in recent months. RJ was the more affluent option who seemed to be Elektra's better social match, while Will was the bad boy who rode a motorbike and wore earrings. Thus, it took place. Elektra is a smart businesswoman. She possesses the style that Forrester Creations has long been recognized for. Crucially, Elektra is a Forrester if Eric approves RJ's proposal. She could swiftly take Hope Logan Spencer's place and generate an immediate buzz that would force Logan to react. Hope is yesterday in RJ's eyes, and Elektra is the woman of the present. He also thinks she will love him back in the future. Dillon clearly projects as Will's rebound option, but Will won't like that. Heather Tom makes Don Diamont cry, the greatest blessing. We all know that Bill Spencer and Katie Logan have one of the oldest and messiest relationships ever, according to spoilers for The Bold and the Beautiful. But it turns out that their love exists off-screen. Diamont describes his love for his long-standing co-star and the reasons they have collaborated so successfully for so long in a recent video. Diamont began by referring to Tom as the greatest blessing of my professional life. Diamont participated in an episode of Soapy, which was presented by Greg Ricard and Rebecca Budig. He was obviously affected emotionally by the subject of Heather Tom. He had to pause to gather himself as the first sentence about Tom brought tears to his eyes. Before handing Heather Tom all of her flowers, Diamont actually started crying. She is simply the most wonderful lady. The best actress. Simply humorous and enjoyable. And incredibly gifted. And simply incredible. And working across from her for all these years has been a huge honor and pleasure for me. They appear to have a great deal of love and respect for one another, even though it's clear to see how dynamic they are on screen together. It seems like Tom enjoys having a little fun on set, in relation to her shenanigans. Consider someone who enjoys having a good time throughout rehearsal. Clown and joke. It seems that all of the Newmans are hilarious and like making jokes on the set. Diamant brings up the tale of Tom's actions following his dismissal from The Young and the Restless. Producer Brad Bell received a text from Heather Tom indicating her desire for Don Diamant. As they say, the rest is history. After all these years, it's simple to get caught up in Bill and Katie's mayhem. Beneath all of that, though, is a sincere connection between two actors who obviously support one another. Diamant recently commemorated 40 years in the business and acknowledged that he wasn't the only one to do it. For many years, Heather Tom has been a key figure in shaping his career. What are your thoughts? Does the true friendship between Don Diamant and Heather Tom intensify the impact of Bill and Katie's on-screen story? Tell us what you think, and don't forget to stay tuned to see what happens next. Dylan's mother shows up. To his mother's dismay, Will and Dylan's connection keeps getting hotter. Katie has expressed her distrust of Will and her desire for him to stay away from Dylan. Katie continues to disregard Will's counsel, but this time she enforces the law. "You are not going to mend your broken heart with this," Katie says Will after interrupting the couple's private moment. As Katie continues her tirade, an irritated Dylan rolls her eyes. Katie says, "This is not the answer." Afterward, Dylan calls her mother, Darcy, to update her on all the events in her life. "I'll get out there as soon as I can," Darcy responds to Dylan's request for her mother to visit. Darcy's visit will undoubtedly be fascinating and may uncover other Dylan family secrets. Above all, though, Katie might find her match in Darcy. When she left, Daphne and Carter's marriage appeared to be gone. However, after giving it some thought, she made the decision that she wanted to remain with Carter, who graciously accepted her return. Daphne feels that she and Carter are still far apart, though. Daphne claims that Steffy and Finn's love inspires her when she and Carter talk about their marriage. Daphne is unaware that Carter and Steffy are concealing a significant secret that could ruin both of their marriages. Finn is committed to mending his marriage after nearly losing Steffy during the Sheila incident in Monte Carlo. When Steffy brought him back and forgiven him, he was appreciative. However, Steffy's secret might now be the cause of the couple's breakup. Steffy begins to feel guilty, and Finn quickly notices. Finn makes a pledge because he thinks Steffy is concerned about Sheila. He assures his wife that nothing in our future can ever come between us. Steffy is in a difficult situation, and Finn's remarks don't really help. The truth will eventually out, despite her desire to remain silent about her tryst with Carter. I wonder if Shin will make it through this most recent marital challenge. In addition to Elektra creating the most toxic workplace ever, Steffy is prepared to confess to Finn. At the start of the episode, Finn is still apologizing to Steffy at the Cliff House, explaining that he hurried home from Monaco because he was worried that things might worsen if he didn't get there right away. Oh, friend, if you only knew. Daphne is keeping an eye on Carter's distancing at FC and wondering if his feelings for her have evolved. On a trip to the beach home, Will is wondering about Elektra, who is currently daydreaming about him while fiddling with jewelry in her office. This episode has a lot of flashbacks, don't you think? And in theirs, didn't Will and Elektra resemble infants? In any case, Elektra immediately becomes sarcastic as Dylan walks into the room. Katie interrupts Will's reverie at the beach house, asking why he's hooking up with her best friend if he misses Elektra so much. Katie goes on to list all the numerous reasons she doesn't trust Dylan. Katie growls, "She walks in here like she owns the place," mentioning that she has a crazy cousin and that she has spent years following the Spencers' lives. Will contends that Dylan is a kind person. Katie responds, "Well, good people don't go after their best friend's boyfriend." Ridge, "Didn't she once pursue Brooke's destiny?" Katie remarks, "I know women like her. I also don't trust her."